Monday is deadline day for Nigeria to sort out the running of its football federation. Otherwise, the country will be banned by FIFA. Soccer's governing body has taken issue with how much the state has allegedly interfered in the running of the Nigerian Football Federation. Amaju Pinnick, who is recognised by FIFA, and his team were kicked out of the NFF, and a rival faction led by Chris Giwa has taken control. Giwa is under a 5-year ban by FIFA for breaches of the NFF statutes and the FIFA Code of Ethics handed in February last year. But he appears to have the backing of the Nigerian government. A request by Sports Minister Solomon Dalung to meet FIFA last week was turned down. The deadline has expired. It did expire at 10 GMT on Monday, and it's unclear if Giwa has vacated office. Without that, FIFA is expected to proceed with the ban. Well, let's stay with that story. We are now joined by Deji Badmus in Lagos. Deji, has there been any sign of Chris Giwa and his team vacating from the helm of the NFF?
Well, Karen, what I can tell you is it doesn't seem this ban is going to happen, because what I have been able to gather from sources now within government is that the government is actually reaching to FIFA, giving every assurance that Amaju Pinnick and his board are in control of the NFF and that they'll be allowed to carry out their responsibilities without any hindrance. So it doesn't seem likely, if what I'm getting from my sources now is correct, it doesn't seem likely that the ban is going to happen. And, you know, the deadline has actually passed and we haven't heard any announcement at all from FIFA. So it doesn't seem that is going to happen, because the government, from what I have gathered, has given the assurance that the Amaju Pinnick board will be allowed to perform.
And Deji, what happens if Nigeria is banned by FIFA?
Oh, it will be terrible, Karen. It will be terrible. It's a ban no one wants to see. For instance, it means all footballing activities in this country will come to a halt. Nigerian players who are seeking to go ply their trade abroad would not be able to do so because they'll be caught up by the FIFA ban. So there'll be no transfers for Nigerian players. For instance, the AFCON, under 17 AFCON that will be taking place in Tanzania later this year, it means Nigeria will not be taking part in that. The Falcons, I'm talking about the female national team now, they're supposed to be taking part in the women's AFCON Women Cup of Nations now that are taking place in Ghana. They would not be able to do so. Ayimba Football Club of Aba just beat Joliba yesterday in the CAF Champions Cup. It definitely means that would count for nothing, because Ayimba would have to be thrown out of the CAF competition. So the consequence, it's something you just don't want to imagine. And it is the reason why I think the government has decided to move to give FIFA every assurance that this is not going to happen. And perhaps the most important consequence will be the fact that if footballing activities come to a halt in this country, all the sponsors of the national team and all those who have invested in football will pull their investments away. And I mean, you know what the result would be when that happens. It means the death of football in this country.
Okay,
so it's something no one wants to see happen, and I don't think the government would allow that to happen.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Deji. That was Deji Badmus in Lagos on the standoff between Nigeria and FIFA on the running of the Nigerian Football Federation.